good afternoon. I'm Melissa here from the Proposify support team, coming to your Wednesday webinar. Happy Wednesday. It's beautiful weather out here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where Proposify is located. And I'm looking forward to giving you a tour of the proposal editor tool. So the first thing that I just wanted to let you know, if at any point in time you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment into the comment box there. I can already see that we've got some users in here, Natasha, Johnny, Typal, and Megan already have left some comments, so thanks a lot, guys. You can actually also ask a question directly below. You just click on that link, type it in. I'll be checking back and forth between these two spots through the webinar to give a look to see if anybody has any questions specific. So I'll be taking you through our editor right from the get-go, how to create a proposal, how to add in different elements like fee tables and images, going through how to change font styles and all of that stuff so you can put together the best proposal to close deals. All right, so I'm just going to start off by sharing my screen. All right. So you should be able to see my proposal pipeline. I am just going to quickly shoot a message into the chat box to make sure that everybody can hear me. Awesome. Perfect, great. I have a little apprehension just to make sure that we're not having any kind of technical issues. So thanks a lot, guys, for letting me know that you can hear me okay. So we're going to start off with generating our proposal. So how to go about selecting a template, proposal settings, everything like that. If you take a look in the upper right-hand corner of your proposal pipeline, you'll see this green plus proposal button. You go ahead and click that. And you'll see that you'll be brought into our template gallery. This page here will actually show your commonly used proposal templates. So things that you've used recently or just created, those will show up within here. If you actually wanted to go through and select a template that you haven't used before, or you want to go ahead and look at different templates that we have to offer, you can always select the gallery button here. And this will actually load up our over 40 different proposal templates that you can select from and use. So today I think we are going to take a look into, well, let's do this a little bit easier. We also have categories up here that you can break out your templates into to see templates specific to industry or document type. So we're going to go through and we're going to do a catering proposal today. So click the plus use this button to select the template. And you'll immediately be brought into the proposal settings page. The proposal settings page is how you're going to go through and outline how you want that proposal to be presented to your client. So what kind of proposal name. So we'll go ahead and we'll call this Queen's Tea event. The proposal due date is an internal metric to measure against when this proposal should be delivered to your client. It's something that can be used, like I said, it will show up in your proposal pipeline to show you about or when that will actually or should be going out to your client. So we'll go ahead, we'll select from 2 weeks from today. Now, Within the select client field, you can go through clients that you've already uploaded into your contacts through one of our integrations, which I'll cover a little bit later, or you can add a brand new client that you've never dealt with before. So if you hit the plus add a new client button up here, you'll be directed to enter the client information. All right, and if the company exists, so you just want to add this contact to a pre-existing company, you can certainly select it from the list, or you can enter in a brand new company. Brian works for 123 Fancy Drive, and then you enter in Brian's email. Hit save, and Brian will be added as the main contact for that proposal. Who's leading the proposal would be the user that is delivering the proposal to the client. So who's actually sending this information off? You can select from the drop-down any of the different users that you have signed into or within your actual account. So people who you've invited and accepted the invitation. So I'm just going to leave that as myself. There's a couple of fields here that are for custom variables, which we will be covering a little bit later and how to set up. You can set up Stripe payments. So we do have a Stripe integration, which will allow you to collect payment from your customer upon agreement. There's also some additional options. If you take a look and you hit that slider, the stream, so the stream works almost like a filing cabinet of where that proposal would be held within the pipeline. That's another feature that we'll go over briefly later. The proposal number. So if you have a certain, maybe a customer number or client number or an invoice number or something that you want to relate the proposal back to, you can do so by modifying the proposal number field. You can tag the proposal for easy searchability within the pipeline. You can add attachments to your proposal. So if you have the window open, you can drag and drop the attachment directly in here, or you can click the link to upload. That's what I'm going to do. And we'll just attach this image. So select your image, hit open. You can see one file was uploaded successfully. You can actually go through and through the click here to upload method, you can select multiple files to be uploaded at one time. You can see my file attached here. If I want to delete that file, all I need to do is click the trash can that shows up on the left-hand side of the link. If I want to make that visible to client, it's automatically selected as on. So when my customer goes through and views my proposal, they'll actually be able to click that, download the attachment, and have it themselves. If I wanted to have that be an internal attachment only available to my team, I simply click the slider, it turns to off, and that will only be visible to my internal team. So let's say if I had a price sheet and I was generating the proposal for a different user, I could attach that price sheet. That attachment would only be available to the internal team, and they can go ahead and reference it maybe to build their fee tables. I can actually also add notes in here as well. So let's say I add that price sheet as an attachment. I can make a note, please update pricing. And that will attach within the activity feed through the proposal snapshot page. So you can see that when that other user goes in to update the pricing and sees that attachment, they'll know exactly what to do with it. Once I've filled out all of my information here within the proposal settings page, I hit the green next step button. And Proposify is just now going through and generating my proposal based on those settings and based on the template selected. There we go. So as you can see here, everything is added in and ready to go. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to look at now that we're within the editor are the different types of sections that you can set up within your proposal. There are two different types of section that can be added into a proposal. So to add a new section, if you take a look in the upper left-hand corner here, there's a plus button. Go ahead and click that plus button. And a dialog box will pop up asking you the section settings. So what you want the section name to be, new menu items. Underneath the section name, you'll see the option, or two separate options here, one for page flow and one for static. Page flow is much like a Word document. So when you're within Word and you hit the bottom of a page, a new page is automatically generated as that content's added. A static page flow is more like a PowerPoint document. So the pages are added manually. Page flow sections are best used for text-heavy pages, and static pages are best used for combination, I like to call them pages. So things that you want to have a combination of images and text, maybe tables and things like that, because each element is added in individually. Whereas with page flow, the text box is built directly into the page itself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select static because we're going to do a couple of different things on this page. I actually also have the option within here to add a tag to my section, which makes it easily searchable within the content library. Hit save, and you can see on the left-hand side your new section's created. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do now that our section's created is we're going to add a little text in here. You take a look on the upper right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a little toolbar with a number of different options. The first button below the arrow is a T, that's your text tool. You click there, and then you click to drag within your page, and a text box is created. So just double click to activate that text box. And you're able to type in there. If you click off that, the text box becomes inactive. To get back in, simply double click, and you'll have the ability to type again. Now, you do have the option within text boxes to make modifications to the specific text. You can change this individual piece of text to a different color. You can change the font size, all by using the text bar that's located at the top of your page. You can see here, there's the specific text style, the font size, color, bold, italics, underline, strike through, and then there's different line heights, alignments. You can actually do a lettered list or a numbered list or a bulleted list. You can add a link, and then you can clear the formatting. So if you've gone through and you wanted to make a change to the specific, you've gone through, you've made a bunch of modifications, you just want to clear it out, you can clear it out in one easy step. So I'll take you through just quickly here how to go ahead and do individual font changes. So I want this to actually be quite a bit bigger. So I hit my type size, select it, and now you can see that my font has grown in size. If this doesn't look quite right, I always have the option to go ahead and resize my box. Single click allows me to bring that up. There we go. And let's say I want to go ahead and I want to have this be a different color. I select my color tool, double click, hit OK, and my color has now been updated. If I wanted to go through and I wanted to make modifications throughout my document without changing individual pieces like I've just done, on the right-hand side of your page, you'll see a Type Styles button. You click that Type Styles button, it'll open up a menu. You'll have the ability to type or select the type style. So let's say if I wanted to change my heading and have that not be orange anymore, let's go ahead and let's see if we can get something that is closer to the color scheme. Hit OK and save it. Now anywhere that I've used that header styling 1, as you can see below, has been updated to the purple color. So this gives you the ability to make quick changes to reflect throughout the document. You can do that with any of the different type styles that we have in place. Moving on, we're going to talk about adding images to our proposals. Again, on the right-hand side in the same toolbar as your text tool, you'll see your images tool just below. Click that images button and your image library will be brought up. You have the ability to add images within the image library through here. You can actually also do it through the content library button, and you can see your full image library within here. Works very similar to the attachment upload. You can drag and drop your images directly into here, or you can do a click and do a multiple image upload by selecting the files. So you can go through, there are search fields here. So if you have a specific title for an image, you can search that. You can actually go through different options within here as well. So the most popular images that you've used, you can also tag those images and filter them. To add an image, find the image that you'd like and drag that into place. You can resize the image as well by clicking on the boxes on the corner. You also have an image properties menu on the right-hand side of the page that you can go through. You can change the width and height in pixels. You can round it, you can rotate it, you can change the opacity of it, add a border, add specific padding. You can turn off the ability to lock the ratio. So if you wanted to not have it enlarge or shrink based on ratio, you can turn that off as well. You can also add a link to that image, so that would be clickable out to a website or maybe a separate page. All right, we're now going to talk about fee tables. Fee tables are one of the most important parts in proposals, in my opinion, because it really puts forth what your client would be looking at paying for, what services that you have available, and how much they cost. Again, if you take a look to the right-hand side, you'll see the table button. It's the second one from the bottom. Go ahead and click there. There's two options for tables that we currently have. Fee table, as I just mentioned, which is used for outlining specific fees and costs for the proposal. There's also a content table, which I find is really useful when it comes to making things like service lists. So you have 3 separate packages that you don't necessarily want to affiliate a cost to, but you want to outline which package includes what. You can make a list using a content table, where on the far left-hand column, you can have the different package includes, like the features, and then columns based on package that you can simply add a check or an X, whether that package includes it or not. So to create your fee table, you go ahead and select fee. Underneath this, you'll have a number of different options in which you can go through and select different fee types to create that table with. Mixed allows for multiple fee types to be included, unit and quantity, fixed, hourly, monthly, and annual. For this fee table, I'm going to select fixed. It's one of the more popular fee table types. It includes 2 columns. All other fee table types include 4. You have the option to show the total within the table. You also have the option whether to include in the total. So one thing that I wanted to mention about including in totals would be if you have a situation in which you are charging 1 year, and then you want to also include, or even 1 month or 1 period of time frame, and then you want to include separate fee tables to outline additional fees, you can choose to keep that first fee table that you want your proposal to reflect the value on in the totals, but the additional fee tables, you can choose to include or to not include those in the totals. That means that when the client is presented with the proposal and they see that proposal value, those additional fee tables wouldn't be included. Also, if you wanted to go ahead and use Stripe to collect payment upon agreement, then you could disallow those fee tables from including in that payment amount. Once you've decided on your different fee table settings, you simply click Insert Table, and your table's generated. You can click and drag, much like your images and your different text boxes to go through. You can resize them. So within the fee table, you click and you have the option to add in your fee title and your fee description. So we're going to feature shrimp at this Queen's Tea. And it's going to be a la carte. I have my price in on the right-hand side. This is very expensive shrimp. And you can see once the price is added and I've clicked out of the fee table, the total is generated at the bottom. A couple of cool features that you can actually do within your fee tables is have the ability to make this total here editable or optional. I'd actually have to change my fee type to make that editable, but I'll show you in a second how to do that. If I wanted to make this optional for my client, there's a slider that appears on the right-hand side once I've clicked into the row. If I click this to be yes or on, you'll see a checkbox is included within my fee table. Now my client has the option to choose whether they want shrimp with their tea or whether they don't. If I decide that I need to change my type of row, again, I click on that fee table within my row type on the right-hand side. Go ahead, change that. You can see a new column's added. So let's go ahead. We'll add in 23. Now this is changed to a per hour. And I want to make that editable so my client can go through and make modifications. Oh, there's my column right there. And you can now see that I've changed that slider to on the right-hand side. My customer now has the option to select how many hours based upon this fee amount that they would like. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've covered so far? I'll just check the questions. Oh, I do have a question here. Will we be covering what's new in the updated version of Proposify? I won't be covering the specifics of it, Shannon, but I will bring to attention new and different things that have been updated, such as the inclusion of custom fields. And as you can see within the new editor, does look quite a bit different from what it did before. If you wanted a detailed list of what's new, if you could please reach out to us at support, or you can reach out to me at support after, and I can give you a detailed breakdown of exactly what's new and included. So next up, we're going to talk about adding videos into, you're welcome, Shannon. Adding videos into our proposal. So I'm just going to get rid of this fee table here. You can see it's selected. I'll click the trash can at the top. There we go. And that fee table has now disappeared. To add a video, again on the right-hand side, the third button down, you'll see the little video icon. Click there. And just like our our text boxes, we're going to click and drag to create our video box. Within the upper right, in the video properties menu, you will enter in your embedded code. Currently, we support YouTube, Vimeo, and Wistia for video embed. So you would just go ahead, put your code within here, and your video would generate within the box. You also have the option to go through and make modifications to the width, height. You can rotate that. You can add a border. And one new feature here, Shannon, that was from 1.0 to 2.0, we have made the ability to upload a thumbnail for your video. So if you have a still within your video and you want it to show up instead of this box, you can upload that thumbnail and the image itself will show in your proposal map. All right, next up we're going to talk about variables. Now variables I find are one of the more important parts when it comes to building your templates and proposals. They're a real time saver. Implementing variables within your actual templates means that you don't have to go through and you don't have to input information over and over again based on your client or based on who's generating that proposal. If a variable is in place on the template, it will pull the information based on your proposal settings, your user settings, and the actual client settings. So as you can see, I'm active within this text box. If you take a look on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the variables button. You go ahead and click that variables button. A number of different menus will load up for you. Okay, so you can see that we have company variables for your client or for yourself. You have client variables based upon the client information. You also have proposal variables. So let's go ahead. We'll hit first name in here, and you can see just by clicking that, the variable has generated out the name Brian because Brian is who we went ahead and we created this proposal for. Another cool little trick in here for anybody who's tuning in who happen to use 1.0 is you can actually do hashtag and the menu will be automatically generated, so you actually don't have to access the variables menu on the right-hand side. You simply add hashtag, select that variable. Let's see, get one that I know is in here. There we go, company name. And you can see it's automatically added. So you don't have to search around for the different variable. There's no need to copy and paste the short codes into the editor anymore. Hashtag will bring that menu up. One other thing that we tend to get in support, especially from our newer users, is how to go about adding a page. So remembering back to when I created this section, I created it with a static page type. You take a look within my section bar on the left-hand side here, you'll see here's my original page, and then I have this plus button. To add a new page to this section, all I need to do is click that plus button, and you can see a new page is generated. For sections that have page flow, I'm not certain if this proposal has any, but give me a moment here and we'll take a look. No, I'll show you quickly here. We'll just create a brand new section and I'll show you what a page flow section looks like and how it looks to add a new page there. So you can see page flow on. So my page flow section in the section bar looks a little bit different from my new menu items. You can see that there's only the singular page in here. And as mentioned before, if I double click and I add in content, as I go through the page and hit the bottom, a brand new page is generated. So the quick way that you can tell if you have page flow turned on or not is if you don't see that plus symbol within your section bar on the left-hand side. Sorry about that. You don't see that plus button on the left-hand side. That means you have page flow turned on. Now I'm going to be moving away from the editor itself and moving into some different things that we can do within Proposify. Does anybody have any questions specific to the editor before I move on? No, I think we might be good to go. All right. So we're going to, perfect. Thank you, Megan. We're going to move on to the content library. So the content library is a really helpful feature within Proposify that allows you to store and reuse sections that you've built out within your different templates and within your different proposals. If you take a look at the top of each of these different sections, you can actually see this little link here that says last edited by Melissa 7 seconds ago. So I'm just going to make a quick modification to this. I'll drop a shape in. There we go. And what I'm going to trigger here is that that change has been made. I think I might be having some internet issues. Bear with me for a moment. Working in a tech world, tech problems happen. Unfortunately, I apologize. There we go. Just going to actually do a quick refresh on this. Nice thing is, no need to worry. We do an automatic save on your proposals every couple of seconds. So that means any kind of changes or anything like that that you've done, you don't need to worry about whether you refresh or if your browser times out or anything like that. We make sure that you keep what you need. There we go. Sorry about that. So I believe we were working in theme. All right. Well, we'll go ahead, we'll work out of the team section here. So if we go ahead and we click on this link that says last edited by in the upper left-hand corner of my page, you'll see on the right-hand side a menu will pop up that says revision history. From this revision history, I have the option to go ahead and push this particular revision into my content library for reuse for future proposals. You can actually also see here under section versions, there's two options. So you can see modification from 4 seconds ago, which is what's showing right now, and one from 29 minutes ago when we went ahead and generated that proposal. If I click them and select, it'll actually move between the two different revisions. Now, if I wanted to make sure that the most up-to-date revision is the one that's put into my library, I click on 4 seconds ago, make sure that that's highlighted, and then click push. That's actually gone ahead and that's put it into our content library now, so I can input that into different proposals or different templates for future use. I'll quickly show you that. Looks like we've just done an update, so I'm just refreshing my screen now to make sure that that's applied. There we go. Now when we go to the content library, you can see mine's pretty robust because I've done a lot of different testing and a lot of troubleshooting with our different customers. So if I want to quickly find that section that I generated, I can type in team, which was the section name, select team, and you can see right here, team created April 18th. There we go. Now this might look a little bit different from when it was in my proposal. Your content library is based upon your default template that you have set within your template library. That content library will go through and it will inherit that default template as it's set. So any kind of page orientation, any kind of font styles or anything like that, you can see that this portrait proposal is my default template as indicated by the green bookmark with the star. So when I import that, that section, that's what it's looking for to replicate. What I would suggest for you to do if you're going to set up a default template is make sure it's one of the ones that is most commonly used. The nice thing with the content library though, is just because you've set a default template doesn't mean that that's the style you have to stick to. Any section that you import from the content library will actually go ahead and inherit the proposal style or the template style that it's imported into. So you don't need to worry about going ahead and changing page orientation or changing page size or the font colors. That will automatically update based upon the proposal or template that the section is being imported into. All right, any questions about the content library? I put out and modifier qualification. I've sent the same thing twice, but I will send a combination of things. I've sent again and then rebuilt again. Stop rewriting our description. Okay, so I'll just read off. I put out modified qualifications for engineering products 10 times a week. I never send the same thing twice, but I will send out a combination of things I have sent again and then rebuilt again. I want to be able to stop rewriting our descriptions and stop having to format over and over again. Will the system help that? Absolutely, Megan. What I would actually suggest for you within your content library or within your proposal editor, you have the option to build out snippets. So these descriptions, as long as you can kind of piece them out, so each piece that you can kind of combine within each other, can be built into these editable snippets, so these pieces of text. So I just went into the content library, I selected snippets, and you can see the one thing that I usually recommend this for would be like team bios. So you have a team, but they might not always be the same team working on the same project each and every time your proposal's sent. Build up a snippet for their piece of information within the snippet library, and then you can actually drop that directly into the proposal, so you can pick and choose what content goes into that page. With that, do you think that would help you out, Megan? I think that might be a good solution for you. If not, you can always get some additional information at the end of the webinar. What I'll do is I will walk through how to contact support, and I'll also drop our support email within the chat field. Oh, you can have as many snippets as you want. So, and you can drop as many snippets as you want within the actual proposal. So that was just my snippets library. Looks a little anemic because I only have a couple of snippets in there, but you can literally have as many snippets as you need, and you can drop and combine them as you want. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, sending our proposal. So we've built our proposal out. We're perfectly happy with it. We are ready to deliver to our client. There's a couple of different ways that you can send. You can actually send directly from the proposal pipeline stage. So if you click on that, so you can see it's highlighted, little boxes will come up on the right-hand side of that proposal, or that proposal within your pipeline. The option to jump right into the editor, or this little dot, dot, dot menu here. If you click that dot, dot, dot menu, you're presented with a few different options. You can duplicate that proposal to use for a different client, download it as a PDF, send it to a client, or archive it. Archiving allows you to still keep that proposal on hand, but it won't be active. So if you have a link out to the customer to view, the customer won't be able to view it. It's more of a safekeeping. I typically suggest going ahead and archiving proposals that might be lost or that are, dead in the water. You sent them out 6 months ago. You've reminded the client just wasn't really responsive. You can go ahead and archive it to keep it for future use, possibly if they come back around to you. But it's more for stuff that's kind of finished and out of the way. If I select send a client from here, I'll be brought directly to our send page. And you can see that you can outline right now. Brian uses our signer, so he has a signature box within that proposal. I also have a signature box that I would want to sign off on. You can select different email templates to send with. So within your settings page over here, there's an option for email templates that you can set up based upon user. So if each user has maybe different wording or you want it to reflect how they sound, you can set up different email templates. If you have clients who may be Spanish speaking or in a different language, you can set up different templates to reflect that language, things like that. If we scroll down in here, you'll actually see the message body, and you can do direct edits to that message body right within here. And you can take a look on the right-hand side. It's an automatic update, so you can see exactly how everything looks like. There's a text editor within here as well, so you can adjust the colors, the bolds, italic, underline, everything like within the proposal editor as well. You can actually also go ahead and add in variables too. You can see how that email will not only look like on a desktop, but we do live in a mobile world now, so we want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to people viewing on their mobile device. You also have the option through Proposify to send a thank you email. Some of the feedback that we've got from our previous clients is that, you know what, I have a CRM like HubSpot that sends my thank you email for me. I don't want to send out a second one. We now have the option to go ahead and turn that off. So if you happen to have a CRM or a different method that you send a thank you email through, you can choose to not send it through Proposify. You can set up thank you templates just like your send emails. We also have the option for a reminder email. So you've sent out a proposal to a customer. They haven't even opened the email in 2 days. You want to go ahead and send out a reminder. You can automatically schedule one through Proposify to poke them in 2 days' time and say, hey, Mr. Client, notice that you haven't opened my proposal yet. Just wanted to make sure that you've got the email and everything's good to go. And that will automatically send. So that'll be all set and ready to go. Once you're ready to send to your client, you can click the green Send to Client button. Are you sure you want to send it? Go ahead and hit submit, and that email will be sent off with your proposal link to your client. You can also, if you want to test things out and see how things look prior to sending to your client, you can send yourself a test email as well. Oh, actually, I'm going to show you quickly here how this is going to look to your customer. So I'm just going to go back into that send page. If you take a look next to each user that's receiving that proposal or can receive the proposal, there's a little link button. You click that, it'll actually generate out the proposal link. You can drop it into a browser. And this will be what your client will see. One thing that I need to just let you know about, be careful with your client's link. because if you go ahead and you view through that, the metrics portion will think that it's the client viewing. So if you ever want to take a look and maybe do a sign off or anything like that, always use the link that's designated to you, never to the client. So you can take a look. This is what our proposal looks like and what they will experience as a user. You can see my PDF download here. I have the option to go ahead and decline that proposal. Oh, you're welcome, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us. I also have the option right down here in the lower right-hand corner to sign and accept. So if I click that button, I'll be brought directly to my next steps page where my signature is. Through Proposify, our signatures are completely legally binding, and they have the option to either type in and change the style, or if they're really talented, which I am not, you have the option to go ahead and sign using your mouse. As you can see, I always stick to the type. Once I've gone ahead and I've entered in my information, I hit sign and accept, and my signature's been added. Within your proposal snapshot page, you'll actually see the time that was signed, the IP address associated to it, so we ensure that everything is fully legal when it comes to signing your documents. Within your preview, your client also has the option to go ahead and add comments. So if you take a look at these little comment bubbles up at the top, they can click here, a box has popped up. Oh, there we go. And I have the ability to leave a comment. The person who's delivering the proposal will be notified when a comment's left, and they'll be able to reply to it or reach out to their client to discuss further about it. There we go. And you can see my comment indicated by the red dot. All right, so now we're going to take a quick look at the proposal snapshot page. So if I just click on that proposal from my pipeline, I'll be brought directly into the snapshot. The snapshot details the background information for the proposal. So if you take a look here, when it's due, the amount that it's due for, I can go through, I can edit, I can preview that as well. If I manually deliver that, so I've downloaded the PDF, I printed it, and I've gone ahead and I've given it to the client in hand, I can actually go ahead and tell Proposify whether they've signed off on it, so I can mark it as won, lost, or I've gone ahead and I've sent, they're still under review. You have your option to download the PDF right through here, duplicate the proposal, archive it, or send it right in the upper right-hand corner with these 4 buttons. Underneath the proposal settings, you can see who your client is, the specific proposal details. You can see here that I've signed off on that proposal. There's my proposal link. You can see Brian has not signed off on it as of yet, but if I wanted to remind him of that, I can actually send a reminder through here as well. There's also the activity feed within that snapshot page where you can see specific details. So here's my note that we left earlier. Here's my client note that I left. Here's my details that I've gone ahead and I've signed the proposal. There's the specific signature image. So all of the little different steps that we've made within the proposal are all found within the activity feed. I can actually also leave notes for my teammates directly through this activity feed as well. All right, any questions about the activity feed or the snapshot page? Oh, I think I have another question here. Hold on one second. Oh, do you have any advice for prepping a client to sign off on an electronic proposal? I don't have specific advice, but I will let you know that once you have gotten your clients into the mindset that electronic proposal signing will go ahead and save a lot of time and a lot of effort. A lot of people find that those old school clients actually are very easily converted into the brand new electronic generation. There's no need to run around. It's completely legal. It's legally binding. So it's the exact same as going through and putting that pen to paper. So that is something that, like I said, the feedback that I've received, once they make the change and they become adjusted to just clicking the button, they really don't feel that it's either any different or lesser than putting the pen to paper. What I can do, Vicki, if you want, at the end of the webinar, you can go ahead and shoot me off an email to the support team. Once again, I'll tell you how to get in contact with us. There may be some blog post information from Proposify that will actually talk specific to this, or I can actually talk to the team as well and see maybe if we have some best practices for you. Okay, you're welcome, Vicki. We're going to talk about metrics. So metrics are one of the, I find, I used to work in a sales environment. Metrics are the way that you measure how well you're doing when using Proposify and delivering your proposals to your clients. So within the metrics page, you can access that by clicking the metrics button on the upper left-hand side. You'll be brought in, you'll have business metrics and view metrics. The business metrics will actually measure how well your team is doing and how well actually even on an individual level you're doing within Proposify. So within the last week here, you can see that I delivered a total of 7 proposals to my clients. Only 1 was viewed, but that 1 viewed was 1. So I could probably do maybe something a little bit different, or maybe knock on the doors of these other 6 people that I've delivered proposals to that haven't gotten back to me within the last week. I have the option to view these metrics by my streams. Under the teams menu, I can see my different teams, or I can see my individuals. So if I select Melissa G, Melissa G's not pulling her weight around here. She's only delivered 1 proposal within the last week. So maybe I want to go ahead and I want to reach out to her. I can actually also see my proposals based upon my specific clients. So you can see Angus's Beef here has 2 proposals delivered in the last week. None of them viewed, none of them won. I should probably reach out to them and see how things are going. Under the View menu, I can actually see how my clients are looking at my proposal. Once a proposal is viewed, you can see these metrics overall in here, or within the proposal activity feed, you can see the specific view metrics based on the actual individual proposal. Once again, you can segregate these by time frame, stream, user, or specific to client. So right now, you can actually see that my clients are spending 58.11% of their time on our understanding. They've gone through, they've looked at it once, and they've spent 43 seconds there. A couple of little pieces here. Average time to view is the amount of time between when I've hit send on that email and when my client has gone through and actually clicked on the link within my proposal to view it. Average length of viewing is how long your clients are spending within your actual proposal taking a look at it. Average views per proposal is how many times they're going back through and they're looking at that proposal over and over. One thing that I wanted to actually bring up quickly, now that we're talking about metrics, within our proposal settings page, you'll find the client preview. So that was the different options that I saw when I was looking at the proposal as the client. One thing that was brought to us by our customers were saying, you know what, you guys have fantastic metrics, but my clients are dodging the metrics by opening up my proposal, immediately going to the PDF download, clicking the button, taking it out of the system, and never looking at it again. We've actually added in the option to go ahead and hide that PDF download button. So now our clients won't have the option to download that. You can make it available to them at a later point in time, but on that initial view, you can remove it to make sure that you're collecting those ever important metrics. Within these client preview settings, you actually also have the option to go ahead, hide the total, so that bottom line number, allow or disallow comments, You can even hide those show and accept or the accept or decline buttons. That's a really great thing to do when it comes to initially feeling out a customer, maybe sending them a pre-proposal. A couple of other things that we can do here within the settings. Your company information. Within some of our plans, we do make available for custom domain and white labeling of your proposals. You can find information about your plans, your billing information. Those are the email templates that I was speaking to earlier. You can update your currency for your proposals generated. The client preview. We do integrate with Google Fonts, so you can access and download any of the free fonts within the Google Font library. A couple of more advanced settings within here would be the rules, teams, and custom fonts. Rules and teams allows you to set certain permissions to different users and delegate them to specific teams. So one of the things that I usually recommend to our clients when they message and they say, you know what, I have 2 brands or I have 2 separate parts of the same company that both want to use Proposify, but I don't want to have 2 accounts. I want to make management really easy. You can set up the teams function to have that account segregated out. So the 2 separate teams can actually go as far as having different addresses, having different currencies, not being able to see each other's content. So you can actually truly segregate the account out to make it reflect the 2 brands, but all still be located within the same account. This is a perfect option when it comes to things like franchising. The roles option will allow people to do certain things, such as being able to make modifications to the content library, making modifications to separate proposals, signing proposals. This is actually really, really great when it comes to people who are hiring contractors possibly. That will go ahead and allow you to either allow or not allow them to do certain things. Joe, I see your question there, and I promise I'm going to get to you in just 1 second. The last thing that I wanted to talk about today was custom fields. So we covered the variables within the proposal editor. You actually have the option to go through and create custom fields specific to you, your company, and your proposals. So one thing that I've gone through here, something that came up was a proposal expiration date. Right now, we don't have a metric to measure against when a proposal will expire. But using the custom fields, you can actually go ahead, create the custom field to reflect expiration date. And then within the proposal settings page, so we'll go back to our fancy drive proposal, and then click on settings. You'll see that this field is available. So I can actually go through, set an expiration date of when this offer will actually expire to the client, and update, and now when I use that custom field or that variable within my proposal for expiration date, and once again I can do hashtag expiration date, it will generate and it'll automatically fill in that May 12th expiration. So let's pop back to the pipeline here. Joe had a really, really great question. So does Proposify allow me to easily search all documents associated to a single client? You can actually go through and do searches from the pipeline based on a couple of different things. So you can actually go based on company name. You can go based on contact name. I can actually see also filtered right down to who's generated out that proposal. So if I clear that out, there we go. I can see all the proposals generated by Melissa, all the proposals that have been generated by Melissa G. So we do make it really easy to actually go through and search and find different proposals based not only on client, but also based on company, based on user and everything like that. Does that answer your question, Joe? All right, just before wrapping up here, we're just going to talk about a couple of different things. Adding users, clients, very easy. You select the option on the left-hand side. You can add clients directly through here, along within the proposal editor as well by hitting the plus company or plus contact button. We actually also added in this button here that will allow you to, once you're finished adding in those companies or clients, to generate a proposal directly from the client's page. You can add in your users as well. Adding users is very simple. You select your user button on the left-hand side. You can see the users that are in the account. You want to invite somebody new to your account, you simply hit the plus invite user button that's located on the upper right. You'll be brought to this page where you can fill out their information, and you simply click invite user. They'll receive an email, click the link, and they'll be able to get added into your account. All right. Lastly, I just want to talk about going through and getting in contact with support, making use of your resources. The bottom of each of your pages within your account, you'll see this little bubble. That's to reach directly out to the messaging system for support. You can go ahead, click it, start a new conversation with the team. Myself or Alan or Nick from the support team will actually be there to give you a hand with anything that you're working through. You can always go ahead and shoot off an email to support@proposify.com. I've added that into the comment box over here, so you can have that for future records. We also have the ability to go through, if you take a look up here, this little life preserver, if you click here, this is direct access to our knowledge base. So a lot of really great helpful articles that we have built out for those who want to give a try to troubleshoot things themselves. If you also click on your initials or your image in the upper left or right-hand corner, you can see a menu will be brought up. There's a resources option here. And this will actually bring you to a lot of the different options that we have. Previous training webinars. We have 2 ebooks that are currently available, Full Scale Agency and the Guide to the Perfect Proposal. There's the Help Center, there's the freelance guide, all of that stuff. So feel free to take a look here. And then also on our website, we do have options to take a look at our blog, and our podcast. So a lot of really, really helpful information can be found within the blog along with the podcast. So we like to put a lot of information at your fingertips to empower you to do the best that you possibly can within Proposify. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions or anything following up on this webinar, please feel free to reach out to our support department. We're more than happy to help you with anything you might need. Thanks so very much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a really wonderful day. Thank you.